Hello, welcome back to my next round of coverage of the International Cannabis Business Conference here in Berlin. I will start with some of the favorite people and products that I have seen, as well as some really interesting numbers I heard about the US market and the German market. I'm Lex Pelger. I do can education for CV Sciences, the makers of excellent CBD and THC products to be shipped to you anywhere in the US. For me, one of the always interesting things at conferences like this is all of the ancillary businesses around cannabis. It's not just growing the plant. There are grow light companies here, extraction systems, packaging companies, irradiation equipment, equipment for making clean rooms at a pharmaceutical level, terp manufacturers, rolling papers. There's even a couple of HHC manufacturers if you're into that. But the very coolest product that I've seen here, and they gave me a copy of one of, is Hemp to Metals CBD tampons, and they also have CBD pads. These aren't available in many countries, a couple of them in Europe, but there's so much science to back these up, and they look like a really excellently made product, and I'm so excited for the future as more and more products involving cannabinoids get out there on the market. I'm also always fascinated by the range of people I get to meet who are somehow involved with this plant. I met a really cool grower from Poland named Mario, and he is actually growing for creating national standards in that country. As they're beginning to start to open up, he's in the ground floor of producing plants and helping to regulate the standards, which is a very difficult thing. How does a country set standards for a plant that's been illegal for over a century? But it's cool to meet someone who's trying to do that in a country that is just beginning to open up and follow the lead of Germany here. Then I met a very enthusiastic German scientist, and she had a handheld IR detector, an infrared detector, and it was fairly heavy, but you could just have it here in your hand, and you grind up your flour, and you put it on top, and you instantly get a readout of the major cannabinoids and the terpene profile of it. So instead of spending hundreds of dollars to send your plant material off to a lab, you can do it right there in the field and have an idea of what's growing right now for you. It's such a boon to growers, and she says that it's the only one on the market here in the EU. Then there was a Dutch control system greenhouse manufacturer who was not having a great conference. Their company runs about 60% of the greenhouses in the world, and the control systems make them reproducible and more automatic. And so they thought, Germany, going legal, might be the time. So they're here with a booth, but apparently nobody's coming up to talk to them yet. So hopefully things go better for them. But eventually they will, because this system is going to be moving more and more towards reproducibility as a key aspect. Finally, some of the data from Bo Whitney of Whitney Economics that I thought was interesting. Apparently in California, per day or per year, they produce 5 times more cannabis than is sold in their retail stores. So cannabis is apparently going somewhere, and they have a big oversupply problem, so it's probably leaving the state and going to other places. And he predicts Germany will probably also have an oversupply problem. That's a common thing as the markets become more, start off. So another thing that Bo Whitney found in his surveys was only in the US, of the licensees for cannabis that they talked to, only 20% of them were profitable. Isn't that a damn shame? Only 20% of those companies who work so hard to get those licenses are even making money at it. The decks are just so stacked against them. Also, there were been reports recently a lot about the huge payment delinquencies that are happening. Companies aren't paying each other. It's a huge problem for the industry. And in Canada as well, the taxes are not getting paid. And now they're implementing systems, so if you don't pay your taxes, you're going to lose your license. He also talked more about where Germany is going. Apparently Germany, once it reaches mature market size, will probably be the market size of New York or Florida, which is something but not huge. And politicians always talk about numbers and how many people are going to be working in this. But probably, since in Germany there's probably only going to be 200 to 300 clubs in this first year, they're probably only going to employ about 8,000 people. And in comparison, this number was bigger than I thought. In the US, how many workers would you guess are working in the US cannabis industry? Feel free to leave it in the comments. It turns out that there are 440,000 legal workers in the US cannabis industry, and probably 1.5 million people total, which is a really cool and impressive number for our bedeviled old plant. So there's some more from the International Cannabis Business Conference. Let me know if there are any topics you want to hear more about.